All right, how's it going? This is Mike, and today I'm going to talk about getting the user's name with structured outputs, which is actually extremely simple. But the issue is what I wanted to see was let's say that somebody accidentally enters something wrong, like they enter in half of their name and then they press the enter button. Would it be possible that um, instead of the chatbot just calling them half by half of their name, or if they were to like write, if it says what's your name and then you say Super Bowl, then at the very least it would say, is your name really Super Bowl? Now, because obviously the structured outputs are always made possible by the ChatGPT API, by the OpenAI API, so it is. I mean, if you put in your name wrong and then you correct it, you say, oops, I wrote my name wrong. Actually, my name is Michael. Then it will fix that. It'll change the value for your name to whatever you put. And that's true for any value whatsoever. But I just wanted to check and see whether there was a way, if somebody has a name that's like, if they ask for a name and they write United States of America, what happened? Could it possibly catch that and just be like, hey, is that really your name? So as always, go to the OpenAI playground and choose chat, and then pick the model. GPT-4o Mini is the one I've been using, and then the text response. You're going to use JSON schema. Now, not every model supports JSON schema, so that's part of the reason I use GPT-4o Mini. It's because it allows support for that. So. Um, Interesting. So we're starting out with the system message here. And in the system message, we just tell it that it should check whether or not, if the name does not resemble a name, then it should assign the null value. So this was clearly like it's just a auto-generated system message because it's kind of overkill. Most of the things it's saying to do are automatic in the JSON schema. There's no need whatsoever for that necessarily. But anyways, and one reason I don't typically like to generate system messages is the more information, the more uh, that's in this, the longer the system message is, the more likely that any single piece of it gets ignored. So yeah, it's great if you have a very clear system message and you can give a lot of different examples. But and if you're only doing one thing, like in this case, we're just collecting their name, then yeah, it's probably not going to be a problem. But if you're collecting a whole bunch of information and it's all using the same system prompt, you wouldn't want to just be that detailed with every single piece of the system prompt because you want to make sure that you're emphasizing the parts of the system, the parts that are most important and the ones it's getting wrong, and not saying things that it's going to do anyways. Okay, so the output here, it only has two properties, the name and the chatbot response. So um, it asked me my name. I'm sort of jumping into the middle of the conversation here, but it did ask for my name, and I answered United States of America. So its response is, the input you provided does not appear to be a valid name. Please enter a valid name. And then I answered in Chinese, Zhou Jielun. And guess what? It works fine because ChatGPT has no problem with many different languages. Right, and this one actually did have a practical use because I created a chatbot for a teacher inside of a classroom, and the students are using it and they're loving it. And it's a virtual classroom, and it's cutting down on the amount of emails the teacher has to send, which is great, saving them tons of time. And I'm sure that the students appreciate getting instant answers instead of having to wait who knows how long to get an answer. But in the we're constantly adjusting the chatbot to make it more accurate. But just in the event that they do get an inaccurate answer, which tends to happen at the beginning of the semester, uh, kind of frequently, and then as the semester goes on, it's less and less because every time there's a wrong answer, we go adjust it. But if the teacher doesn't know, if all the students are anonymous when they're using the chatbot, and then the teacher won't know who to contact when there is an incorrect answer. But as long as there's a name, there you go. But a lot of times the students they're eager to get to their question, to get an answer to their question. They're trying to get their homework done. Maybe there's a deadline approaching, it's the last second. So they're just trying to get the answer and get done and move on to, uh, playing World of Warcraft probably. So they won't provide their name, or so they'll just, if it even if it asks what is your name, they might answer with like just immediately jumping into their question. um, so this would solve that problem, because instead of just taking that as their name or just skipping over the name, it's going to keep re-asking for their name until it gets a name that actually sounds like a name. And honestly, it wouldn't be that hard for the name option, to just list out every name of the students in the class, and then it would have to be one of them. And if it's not one of them, then it would keep asking until um, they until they said a name that is in the list, and they don't know the list ahead of time. They can't just choose from the list. So if they're not supposed to be in that virtual classroom, they're not supposed to be talking to the chatbot, then it won't let them continue onward. But they can, they can use the chatbot and get answers to their questions as soon as they provide their name. And another thing that this is good for is, the teacher was kind of worried that the chatbot would just give them the answers, just basically do their homework for them, which is not I mean, if it's doing that, hey, at least you have a record of it, because they can just have ChatGPT do that anyways, without using the version of ChatGPT that's embedded in your classroom. So, but if a student, got the whole answer basically from ChatGPT, it'd be good to know which student that was. Although you could, if they truly word for word, then you could just go through the chat logs and know. But this will save you that time, and it also would allow you to contact the student and just be like, okay, that was a good answer I gave you, but I need you to, put it in your own words. I need you to show your own work, because I don't want you just taking exactly the answer that ChatGPT gave you and using it for your homework. All right, so we actually have a working demo on this one. Now, if you decide to try out this demo, don't click on these buttons because they will lead you to my business, this chatbot. But just click directly on the chatbot, and oops, there is already a message in here. All right, and you can see it's name getter. That's what it does. So, oops, that was not trying to type hi. Oops. Nice to meet you, Joe. Perfect. Okay. Oops. I need to fix this. That's a little too low. But let's try it again. And this time I'm just going to give it something that doesn't sound like a name. Oops. Did not. Yeah. So I entered 64. Doesn't seem like a name. Could you please provide your name? What if I say giraffe? Let's see if that's an interesting name. Okay. Well, it accepted it. I would prefer that it double checked on that one. I could go back and improve the system prompts to make it more strict. Um, but hey, you know, there's somebody out there named Giraffe. So, anyways, if you wanted to put a chatbot like this in a virtual classroom that you're running, or for any other purpose, go to aiupgrade.site, where we give your site an AI upgrade, and talk to my chatbot on there, and I can get you set up.